Have you ever talked to your dog like it understood every word? Have you ever explained your bad day to a cat or narrated your grocery list to a bird in a cage? We do this constantly, and somewhere in the back of our minds we know they are not following the sentence, but what are they actually hearing? Not the words, not the grammar, something else entirely. The truth is, most animals do not process human speech the way we think they do. They are not translating our language, they're reading it, the way you might read weather. Pitch, rhythm, tension, warmth. To an animal, your voice is not a message, it is a signal, and signals can say more than words ever could. Let's start with dogs again, because dogs are the animals we talk to the most. A dog does not understand sit the way you understand sit. It has learned to associate a certain sound shape with a certain outcome, usually a reward. But dogs are remarkably good at picking up something else, the emotional weather underneath your voice. A sharp, clipped tone means something different to a dog than a slow, warm one, even if the words are identical. Say, "good boy," in an angry voice, and the dog will likely flinch. Say, "you're in so much trouble," in a soft, happy voice, and the dog may wag its tail. That is because dogs are not listening to your vocabulary, they're listening to your nervous system, translated into sound. In a strange way, dogs may understand our emotions better than they understand our language. Cats hear us differently. A cat can absolutely recognize your voice, and studies suggest cats can distinguish their name from other similar-sounding words. But cats do not seem to feel obligated to respond, even when they clearly hear you. That is not confusion, it's a choice, or something close to one. Cats process human speech more like background information than a command, useful to notice, not necessarily worth acting on. When a cat does respond to your voice, it's often because the tone has changed. A soft, high-pitched voice tends to signal safety. A loud, flat voice can signal danger. So while a cat might not know what you're saying, it likely knows how you're saying it, and that may be the only part that matters. Parrots complicate this picture in a fascinating way, because some parrots do not just react to speech, they reproduce it. An African gray parrot can learn dozens or even hundreds of words, and in some documented cases, appears to use them in ways that resemble real communication, not just mimicry. That raises an odd question. If a parrot says, "I want water," at the right moment, is it thinking in words? Or has it simply learned a very precise trick for making things happen? Researchers still debate this. What seems clear is that parrots are listening for patterns of sound that produce results, much like a child learning that certain noises get certain reactions, long before they understand why. Horses respond to human voices in a completely different register. A horse cannot understand sentence structure, but it is exceptionally sensitive to tone, pace, and volume. A calm, low voice can lower a horse's heart rate. A tense, high voice can raise it within seconds. Trainers have known this for centuries, long before science explained why. To a horse, your voice functions almost like another form of body language, an extension of your posture and breathing. If your words say one thing, but your voice says another, the horse will believe the voice every time. Now think about animals that cannot hear our voices at all in the way we imagine. Fish do not have ears shaped like ours, but many fish can sense vibration and low-frequency sound through their entire bodies, using a sensory system that runs along their sides. A voice to a fish might not be heard so much as felt, a pressure moving through water. Some aquarium fish appear to learn to associate the vibration of footsteps or tapping with feeding time. They are not listening to us talk, they are feeling us arrive.
Elephants take this even further. Elephants can detect extremely low-frequency sounds, some below the range of human hearing entirely, and can sense vibrations through the ground with sensitive nerve endings in their feet. This means an elephant might notice you long before you make a sound recognizable to human ears. When elephants do respond to human voices directly, researchers have found they may react differently depending on the perceived gender, age, or ethnicity of the speaker, likely linked to which groups of humans they have learned to associate with danger in areas where conflict with people has occurred. That is a sobering thought. It means elephants are not just hearing sound, They may be building a memory of which kinds of humans tend to be safe and which tend to be a threat. Then there are animals that seem to ignore our voices almost entirely, not because they cannot hear them, but because our voices simply are not relevant to their world. A spider does not care what you say. A garden snail does not pause when you speak to it. For these animals, your voice is just one more vibration in an environment full of vibrations, no more meaningful than wind or rustling grass. It is not that they are incapable of sensing you, it is that you are not important enough to sort from the noise. Here is the strange part. Across nearly every species that does respond to us, the thing they are decoding is rarely the words themselves. It's almost always something underneath the words: tone, rhythm, tension, softness, urgency. Which means that in a very real sense, animals may understand our emotional state more honestly than the people around us do, because they are not distracted by vocabulary. They cannot be talked out of what they are hearing. A dog does not care that you said, "I'm fine," if your voice sounds like you are not fine at all. Maybe that's the real lesson hiding inside all of this. We spend so much energy choosing the right words, the right explanation, the right sentence, but animals are not listening for the right words. They are listening for the truth underneath them. And in the end, that might be the most honest form of listening there is.